Hey everybody, Miss Terry here. And did you hear the exciting news that summer reading program is still happening at the library? So sorry, I'm like so excited about that. So you can still read at home. We're going to reopen the library for some pickups. You can't come in the library yet, so I can't see you yet, but very soon you can have your parents reserve a book for you. If you need information on that, tell them to go to the Cortland Library website. By the way, I am thing one today. Will I read to you? It has been very, very hot today. So yay, I'm happy, but I don't know about how you guys feel and how your parents feel. But I picked two kind of cool books, and then the craft today will be making a polar bear. Now you can make any kind of bear that you want. You can make a brown bear, a black bear, but it's a polar bear, and it'll be at the library. And there's a picture of what the finished thing should look like. So you can do that. But our first book today is The Snowy Nap. It's by Jan Brett. Look at those snowflakes. The Snowy Nap, Jan Brett. Young Hedgie sniffed the chilly wind. Snow is on the way, he thought. I'll just take a last ramble around the farm. He didn't want to miss a moment. And don't forget, as I read, to look in the little side things because it gives you hints to what's coming up in the story. That's what I love about Jan Brett. He could barely keep his eyes open as he walked. The hens noticed at once. Time for Betty bye, they cackled. It won't be long before you have to hibernate, and our coop will be bedazzled by icicles. In a sleepy daze, Hedgie trundled past the pond. The geese honked, goodbye until spring. We'll think of you as we play, slip, and slide across the pond ice. It's already starting to freeze. Hedgie came to the sheep shed. Nighty-night, the sheep bawed. One of the sheep had seen hedgehogs on the farm head for their cozy dens year after year as winter arrived. She also was ready to tell Hedgie what he would miss. I'll soon see the snowmen Lisa makes, she said. So there's Lisa. Think a goat's coming next. The hilly goat overheard and crunched across the frozen field to add, as usual, you will miss winter blue time, when the sun sets and the snowy farm appears in every shade of blue. The pig watched Hedgie stop for a big yawn. Have a good winter's sleep, she oinked. If only I could save a few snowflakes for you. No two are alike. Do you see who's coming next? When the pony trotted up, Hedgie guessed what he would say. Sleep well, he neighed. If you hear bells in your dreams, it will be me pulling my sleigh. That was the last straw. I don't want to sleep all winter like last year, protested Hedgie. I want to see icicles and snowmen, snowflakes and pond ice. I want to hear sleigh bells. Yeah, that'll happen, or no way. This is sign language for no. Before Hedgie could yawn again, he decided to turn around and stay up for the winter. The nights grew frosty cold. Must stay awake, must stay awake, must stay awake to see winter. Hedgie shivered and his eyes closed. From the farmhouse window, Lisa saw a still shape outside in the cold. Poor little hedgehog is frozen stiff, she cried. She bundled him up and brought him inside. Ooh, I like what's coming next. Lisa put Hedgie in a tea cozy and gave him a spot by the window. That was a close call, she said. A snowstorm is on the way. You'd better stay in the house and warm up. I'm wondering, a warm house, will that put Hedgie to sleep? Let's read on and see. To Hedgie's delight, the next morning he saw the world outside shimmering with snow. The old chicken coop sparkled like a palace. Every day he watched from different windows, and new wintry scenes appeared. The pond froze into a shiny mirror. Lisa twirled on her skates as the goose and the gander slid to keep up. To Hedgie's amazement, one day Lisa rolled gray balls of snow. Before he knew it, he was looking at his first snowman. He was getting sleepier, but each new morning held a surprise. The little hedgehog was dozing when he heard the tinkling of bells. He tried with all his might and opened his eyes. There was a pony pulling a sleigh. Lisa made a snowball and tossed it in his direction. Kapoof! Hedgie slept later every day. One day he awoke to see flowers of frost decorating the windows. The trees looked like lace against the sky. I have truly seen winter, was Hedgie's last thought as he nodded back to sleep. Lisa knew it was time. Leaving the door ajar, she cradled the little hedgehog. You belong in the wild, she whispered in his ear as she carried him through the drifts. She crouched by his burrow and nestled him inside. Sweet dreams, little adventurer, she said. Just then she noticed the front door was swinging on its hinges. Squawks and rumbles were coming from inside. Lisa peered through the doorway and saw animals higgledy-piggledy making a commotion in her house. Each one was thinking, I'll see winter from a nice warm house. Out, out, out! Skedaddle, she laughed. Do you know this is not where you live? Lisa was shooing the last mouse from the house as Hedgie, snug in his burrow, fell into a deep, deep sleep. He was dreaming about icicles and snowmen, snowflakes and pond ice. It was a long, snowy nap. Okay, and then our last one has a bear in it. That's how I came up with the craft. The polar bear who wouldn't swim. There's Zachary Archer Cohn, the author, by Karen and Brian Cohn, illustrated by Brent Beck. The polar bear who wouldn't swim. Nighttime was the best time at the zoo for the animals. After a long day of showing off for the visiting boys and girls, the animals could finally let loose and have some fun. The frogs played leapfrog on the lily pads. The kangaroos played hopscotch, and the monkeys just monkeyed around. Across the zoo, the polar bear family shared in the fun. 3 young cubs, Jenna, Henry, and Sydney, splashed in their pool while their mama watched. Just like most polar bears, the cubs loved to swim, but not their brother Zeke. He never joined in the fun. He was afraid of the water and sat by himself bouncing his favorite ball, hoping to be left alone. He just couldn't and wouldn't swim. But on this night, Zeke lost control of his ball and it started to roll towards the pool. Oh no! Zeke shouted as he scrambled to his paws and sprinted after the ball. He couldn't let the ball fall into the water, and as he ran, he could hear his mom yelling, Don't run by the pool! But did she listen? Zeke was close to grabbing the ball, but when he lunged for it, his paws slipped and he tumbled into the water. Jenna sprang into action when she saw her brother crash into the water and struggle to stay afloat. She grabbed a life ring and threw it to Zeke, who clutched as she pulled him to safety. Zeke shivered with embarrassment, wondering what his family thought about a polar bear who couldn't and wouldn't swim. He knew he had to go somewhere animals couldn't and wouldn't swim too. But where? Just then, Zeke thought of his friend Parker the penguin. He looked around at his family, enjoying the water, and made his choice. Zeke sneaked off to see Parker. Hiya, Zeke, shouted Parker when he spotted Zeke in the penguin habitat. What are you up to? I don't want to live by the water because I can't swim, and I don't feel safe, explained Zeke. Penguins don't swim, so I want to live with you. Parker crossed his flippers. I love to swim, he said. You're a polar bear. What do you mean you don't swim? As long as you follow the A, B, C, and D's, you'll be safe. The A, B, C's, and D's? Asked a confused Zeke. Yeah, the A, B, C, and D's of water safety. A is for adults. Only go into my pool. I only go into my pool when an adult is watching me. That way I know I'm safe. B is for... No, Zeke interrupted. Maybe you like the water, but it's too scary for me. Zeke turned around, not wanting to hear any more, and left. He couldn't and wouldn't swim. Now where should I go, Zeke thought to himself. Aha, he said. There was no way the largest animal in the zoo could swim. They were just too big. Zeke sprinted off to see his friend Elliot the elephant. As soon as Zeke got to the elephant habitat, he saw Elliot splashing his dad in the pool. Hey, Zeke, come on in, shouted Elliot. Zeke couldn't believe his eyes. I didn't know you could swim, Zeke sighed. I sure can, replied Elliot. It is fun as long as I follow the A, B, C, and D's. A is for adults, B is for barriers. What are barriers? Zeke asked. Barriers are fences and gates that keep me away from the water when my mom and dad are not there to watch me. I only swim when they open the gate to my pool and let me in. C is for. Before Elliot could finish, Zeke stood up, shaking his head. He did not want to hear about how swimming could be safe or fun. He couldn't and wouldn't swim. He said a quick goodbye to Elliot, and Elliot just shrugged and waved his trunk. Zeke was confused and sad. Could he be the only animal in the zoo afraid of the water? Everyone loved the water, penguins, polar bears, and even elephants. But Zeke couldn't swim. He wouldn't swim, and he knew he had to keep going. He wondered what animal he could live with who wouldn't swim. Finally, he had his answer, and he hurried off to see Hannah, the hippo. You guys know about hippos, right? Do they swim? When he arrived, Hannah was prancing around the hippo pool, practicing her ballet as her mom watched nearby. Zeke was happy to see his friend not swimming, but his hopes were washed away when Hannah broke her stride and launched into a giant cannonball right into the pool. Hannah came up laughing. I totally got you. Zeke stood there shivering and soaked. Oh, I'm sorry, Zeke, said Hannah. I only wanted to surprise you. It's not you, he said. I'm scared of swimming. I want to live somewhere without water, but everyone swims. I used to be scared of swimming too. I thought I couldn't, so I wouldn't. It was horrible to be a hippo that didn't swim, she exclaimed, but I'm not afraid anymore. Zeke perked up. But how did you get over it? There's nothing to be afraid of if you follow the A, B, C, and D's. Here we go again, thought Zeke. Come with me and I'll show you, said Hannah. Hannah grabbed Zeke's hand and dashed through the zoo. When they finally stopped running, Zeke was terrified to see the biggest and scariest pool he had ever seen. Where are we? He stuttered. Let's sit down, Hannah replied. Zeke trusted his friend, so they sat together on the edge of the pool. Just then, a lone, dark fin popped out of the water and started to speed towards Zeke and Hannah. Zeke tried and tried to get his friend to stand up, but she wouldn't budge. The dark fin was getting too close. Zeke prepared for the worst. Daisy! Shouted Hannah. Zeke opened one eye, then the other. There in front of them was Daisy the dolphin. Hi, Hannah. Who's your friend? Asked Daisy. This is Zeke. He is afraid to get in the pool, Hannah said. Do you remember the A and the B of safety? C is for classes, Hannah explained to Zeke. After taking classes with Daisy, I knew how to swim and be safe around the water. She can teach you too. Daisy looked at Zeke. It's true. I could teach you to swim. It's easy. Come on in. Daisy extended her fins, and Zeke looked into the deep blue water, not sure what to do. He could walk away and go home right now, or he could face his fears. Should he face his fears? Oh, sorry, you can't see that. He stared down at the water and thought about what to do. No more sitting alone, no more couldn'ts, no more wouldn'ts, and no more being the only polar bear who was afraid to swim. Trusting in Daisy, Zeke jumped into her fins and held his breath. He was surprised when Daisy caught him before he went under. She held him up, and he felt safe in the water for the first time. They spent all night in the water learning how to swim, and before the swimming lesson was over, Daisy said, don't forget about the D of the A, B, C, and D's. D is for drains. Make sure you always stay away from pool drains because you can become stuck to them. Most animals don't know about the D, but now you do. Knowing the A, B, C, and D's of water safety helped Zeke learn to swim. He promised Daisy he would come back to swim with her. It was fun. When it was time to go home, Zeke said the A, B, C, and D's one more time so he wouldn't forget. A is for adult, B is for barriers, C is for classes, and D is for drains. By the time the sun came up, Zeke was back with his family, snuggling with Jenna, Henry, and Sydney. When he woke, the zoo had opened, and the kids were lining up to catch a glimpse of the great polar bears. Zeke proudly stood up and walked toward the pool. How exciting! After his mom opened the gate, Zeke checked to make sure she was watching. He remembered his classes from the night before, and he jumped in. When he came up, all the kids were clapping loudly, excited to see the young polar bear plunging and playing in the water. From that day on, whenever animals were in the zoo were afraid of water, Zeke taught them how to be safe with the A, B, C, and D's and brought them to see Daisy for her special swimming lessons. Never again did a young animal say he couldn't and wouldn't, because Zeke was there to show them that they could and they should. The end. So I think the frog was afraid to swim because here he is hopping towards the pond. And then this is just information about the A, B, C, and D's. So anyway, you guys have a great week. And when you stop at the library, there should be crafts for you here. Bye.